So just as I think the questions are going really good. Keep the questions coming in. We're already up to 81. So, but we're not going to be answering all of them tonight because a lot of you are asking questions we can't answer. Like, will you make? Why haven't you made? When are you going to make? These are the usual things that don't get answered on these streams. But there are some really good questions in here as well. So we will try and get to whatever we can as we go through. As Alex said, we can try and answer lots of questions. But yes, we're now up to 99 questions.
Yeah, I'm just watching the question list and it is filling up really fast. Okay, I think for the moderators who were checking in with us earlier, if there is a way you can kind of pull some of these out into the Word doc, that might be really useful after all. But I mean, this is what we're here for tonight. Now, I do have a long list. You are going to have to bear with me. On my OBS scene, which is our streaming setup, there is maybe 200 images, and they're all in different structures and folders. So we're going to be talking about the roadmap and bits, but bear with me tonight. It might be a bit long. I think we're probably going to be streaming for a couple hours at least. So just an FYI if you're joining us tonight. Let's talk about it. Let's dive in. The Train Sim World 5 roadmap, whether you're new or existing, here we go. So what can you expect? Well, this is our monthly developer update, and we've got a fantastic developer, Matt, the executive producer of Trains, here with us to answer your questions. We're going to be talking about Train Sim World 5 primarily, but we will touch on some of the future announced routes, some of the future announced content in the roadmap articles, and some of the bits in the roadmap. And then we're also going to be touching on a little bit of Train Sim World VR, Train Sim World Roblox, Train Sim World Tycoon on Roblox, sorry, and maybe just mention CTS a bit briefly. All of that was in our Dovetail Direct, which again, if you've not seen, definitely go check out because we put a lot of love into it. But that's it for tonight. We've got tons of images to show you. And actually, I've got a graphic here, our Dovetail Direct overview. So this was our Direct. Again, you can find this on our channel if you haven't seen it. And on it was it's kind of a mega summary card, which includes all the information for Train Sim World 5 that you should need, just as a quick glance. So again, you can see on there the different editions, the free starter pack, what they include, what bits, what features come with it, when it launches on September 17th, all the good bits. And again, we've got some other things that we want to talk about just briefly tonight. We've got the Train Sim World Tycoon Roblox game, which I know a lot of you have been talking a bit about. We'll get there when we get there, just touching it on the end. We've got the Train Sim World VR, TSW VR New York title, which I know, Matt, you're really passionate about, and we'll talk a bit about tonight. And again, we've got the update for CTS, which we'll just briefly mention towards the end. But this is the Train Sim World 5 roadmap live stream, so we're gonna focus on that. Just before we get into it, as kind of tradition, we do like to mention what's happened in the previous months. So I mean, aside from the Direct, there were a few big things that happened recently. You know, we released the Expert 101, the Class 150, and the Class 380, and you've all been enjoying those. We've had a range of different updates. We had the Cathcart remaster back in July 11th. We've had a bunch of core improvements as well on July 23rd. And earlier in August, we had the August 5th update and an August 12th suspension and formation update as well. So just a brief rundown of the past, but now to the future. Let's talk Train Sim World 5. Here we go. So we're going to start with the different bundles you can get. So just to summarize, Train Sim World 5 is the next edition of Train Sim World. So it will be coming September 17th. And if you want to pick up Standard Edition, we're going to be talking about these routes, but you'll get the West Coast Main Line, London to Milton Keynes, the San Bernardino line, and Frankfurt to Fulda King Zigtelbahn. If you pick up the Deluxe Edition, you can also add on the Avanti West Coast Pendolino, Class 390 Pendolino, and the Flixtrain BR193 Vectron, as well as Cajon Pass. And if you like to build your collection, you can add Special Edition, which has a whole load of other add-ons such as Castle Würzburg, London Underground, New York Trenton, London Overground Suffragette Line, and Bahnstrecke Bremen. Now again, I'm sorry for the admin bits, but new this year is the wonderful free starter pack. So I did want to start the stream and just quickly talk about this because we've seen some of the community discussion. And we want to make sure that you understand what this pack intends to do, who it's really intended for, and all the good bits. This is for everyone, all platforms. It's a free way to try out and to get into Train Sim World 5. So, and when we say it's for everyone, it really is. If you're a new player, if you don't own Train Sim World, if you've never owned Train Sim World, you can get it for free. If you claim it within the first 30 days, so October 17th is the limit we've set, If you claim it within that period, you can have it forever. You can have it for the next 5 months, the next year or 3. It's yours. You know, there isn't a time limit to this. Isn't a trial. It's just there is a claim by date, essentially. And again, we talk about it for everyone, even if you've not played Train Sim World. But if you have played Train Sim World, if you are a fan of Train Sim World, if you own previous editions of Train Sim World, this is also for you, because it's your way into Train Sim World 5, and it's your chance to bring your collection with you to this new to the new edition of Train Sim World, to Train Sim World 5. And again, the examples we used in Dovetail Direct was, let's say you have the West Somerset Railway route, but you have it in Train Sim World 4. You have it in Train Sim World 3, I suppose. Again, I'm trying to remember exactly the timeline here. But let's say you own Train Sim World 3 and you've got the West Somerset route. If you get this starter pack, you can upgrade to Train Sim World 5 for free and get the remaster which came to Train Sim World 4. So you wouldn't have had that if you owned Train Sim World 3. You can get that remaster and you've not spent a dime. So there you can move into Train Sim World 5. There, of course, are loads of wonderful additions that you can pick up with Train Sim World 5. Valuable bundles. You've got the starter pack deluxe and the special edition, which we talked about. There will also be regional packs from launch. You will be able to pick up the Pendolino and the Flix Train as loco add-ons from launch. They will be available, but of course, this starter pack, you may as well tell all your friends. You may as well say, just pick this up, because then they can try out Train Sim World 5. So I think that's a really good thing to clarify, because I know there's a lot of community conversation now. But the retail teams, all of the teams, have been wanting to get something like this out for some time, and we're really glad. I know the community have really wanted this as well, and we're really glad to have brought it to you. But yes, like we say, 30 days, you've got that window to claim it, but it's yours to keep. I feel like I'll be saying that forever, but it is yours to keep. Right, we've talked about the different bundles. Again, I'm going to be going through a big old list of check bits. If you pre-order, you can pre-order on all storefronts at the moment. But if you pre-order the deluxe or special edition, you do get a few extra goodies. This includes a 5-day early access starting from September 12th. Which is also the date where we're going to be sharing loads more content from our wonderful ambassadors, but also probably from our own teams as well. So you get that 5-day early access with deluxe and special, but you do get some exclusive decal packs as well. And if you check the different stores, make sure to look at our FAQs as well, but you can make the most of up to 10 10% of pre-order discounts or loyalty discounts. Again, that kind of depends per platform, so please read our FAQs. All of it's in the description, so just hop in there. Right, I'm going to breathe for a bit, but that was a lot of admin. I do apologize, but it's really good to get the news out.
So I just saw actually someone was asking about Game Pass. Don't know if you want to.
Oh yes, of course. It will be available on Game Pass as well from launch. So let me just run through the platforms. September 17th, Train Sim World 5. It's on PC, which is Steam, which is Epic Games. It's on Xbox One. It's on PlayStation 4. It's on PlayStation 5. It's on Xbox Series S and X. And from launch will be on Game Pass as well. Those are all the bundles and additions. I think I've covered it. There's a lot of admin. Again, I know a lot of you here are just here for the yeah, we really do love admin.
Basically, people come for is the admin. The rest is noise.
It's all noise. I'm just checking in the chat. I know there are, how many questions did we get? During that admin, we got a whopping 109 more questions. So I've probably caused catastrophic damage to the length of the stream. But there we go. Let's talk about some good bits. So, let me scroll down. TSW5 Core Routes and Locos. Let's talk about West Coast Main Line, London, Euston to Milton Keynes. I've got a wonderful summary card up here on screen. Matt, why don't you open this up? Why did we choose this route? What's so good about this route?
As I said on the a lot, I'm going to say as I said on the direct, a lot probably, but this was it was kind of obvious and mandatory. Having done the East Coast Main Line last year, not doing the West Coast Main Line in some form this year felt wrong, and so looked at various options and decided on the Euston to Milton Keynes section because of the wide variety of services that you've got in that section, and it's at that length. It's an achievable route as well, and there's still tons to do. There's lots and lots of Pendolino services that stop at Milton Keynes or indeed other places along the way between London and Milton Keynes. You've got a very busy Class 350 services, but then you've also got the coming in on a layer. You've got the Class 710 over from the Suffragette line, which gets to run the entirety of the Lioness line, which is what used to be called the Watford DC line, and that's between London and Watford in Watford Junction, rightly. I know that. Yeah, so that's the 710, and then you've got the 1972 stop, which is included. And that then allows you to drive from Queen's Park to Harrow and Wealdstone. So yeah, it's just tons to do. It was kind of, we needed to do the West Coast Main Line. It's actually been the #1 requested route for a long time, and it was getting everybody getting up a plan for actually executing that and building it, which the team have done really nicely. So yeah, it's really, really good fun. Particularly, I've spent quite a lot of time driving the 710 up and down, and I've had to pull myself away from it, which is awesome. I haven't actually had that kind of thing in a while, so it's just like after spending, I think I did 3 complete journeys end to end, and I'm just like I need to get on with some work.
There we go. We brought the summary card back. The slides are a little bit too fast. I will try and slow them down for some of the other ones that we've got. We've got a lot of images to go and show tonight. But if you look at the summary card here, you've got all the goodies. You've got the 50-mile stats. You've got the 28 stations, and there's a big old list there. If it's not super clear on the stream, depending on what quality you're watching at, again, all the roadmap descriptions, all the roadmap links are in the description with these assets, with these wonderful graphics. And can I just say, creative team, just amazing work. I mean, all the stream layouts we've been doing, all these cards, made in-house, just fantastic stuff. I love them every year, but this year I just think it's just exceptional. But West Coast Main Line, there we have it. And I think, to be honest, again, we know. Let's go back to the cameras because it's weird just looking to a summary card. We know a lot of you here are here. You've seen the information, you've seen the direct. We will be going through all of the bits and having a bit of a summary for all of them. But we are here for live Q&A, and that's kind of what we're trying to push for a little bit. So, with that being said, let's go through the list and let's see if we probably should have done a topic for West Coast Main Line. Let's see if there's any questions regarding West Coast Main Line that we can answer. And again, in the YouTube chat, we'll try and pull some around from the chat directly.
So Deckard has said that what services will the 377 be doing on the West Coast Main Line? So it's modern timetable. So it's the shorter services. I can't remember. Someone did tell me what they were, but yeah, it's not all the way to Milton Keynes. They go to the stop they do these days.
We've got a question here about the 350 and the 390 layers. So we'll talk about the 390 Pendolino in a moment. We probably should have done them both, but we'll talk about both. Will it layer onto Birmingham Cross City? So they won't from launch, not to Birmingham Cross City or to Glossop. They won't from launch. We don't have any plans to add this right now, but we know that it would make the experience of those routes a lot better. So we will look into it, and obviously we'll take player feedback in. But actually, I think today we did confirm, Matt, I believe that Cathcart will have AI for the 350 to 390.
Yes, it will.
And that will be from launch. So I believe there was some questions about Birmingham, Glossop and Cathcart, but I think Cathcart should have those. Seeing a lot of questions about multiplayer. There aren't plans to add multiplayer. Just going to come out and say it, that there isn't multiplayer.
Wow, a quarter of the questions gone now in one go.
Yeah, let's get that. Let's get that clear. A lot of people about where is, say, the class 377/7. Well, we've got the 377/2, but I don't believe we've got included the 377/7.
No, we just did the 377/2 because that's what runs those particulars up. Remember rightly, the other one is actually a different model, more like the 387. It's another generation of the 377, and can't remember why we picked the 377/2 now, but yeah, there is reason behind it. Yeah, so that's what we've got in there. That's just the one.
I got a question here. It isn't West Coast Mainline related, but I'll answer it quickly anyway because it helps answer a few. Updates on the Southeastern High-Speed AI bug. So we did have a fix for this, and it was fixed in a lot of places, but it looks like there may be an issue still on the 465,
Yes.
and we'll look into that. If there's any questions regarding bugs or issues raised from Train Sim 4, we will touch on them very lightly if they come up, but for the most part, we're still looking at them. Don't worry, we're still looking at improvements. They'll come to Train Sim 5, so when you upgrade and use the free starter pack, you'll be able to get future improvements too. We have sent some recent patches to Train Sim 4 that help address some of these issues, but we will continue to improve and bring more additions to Train Sim 5. So,
there is another patch coming for TSW4 which will add the suspension, for example, onto the BR101. I know that one's being that's underway at the moment.
Good confirmation there. Right, let's do Pendolino, and then let's come back to any other West Coast Mainline and or Pendolino questions. So, speaking of Pendolino, let's go to our summary card. So, the Avanti West Coast Pendolino, the Class 390, probably one of the most requested logos. I say one of. There are a lot of requests for different logos, but this is it. I mean, for me, this is the train that I use whenever I visit the office. I mean, I love this thing. I've seen this thing 100 times. But Matt, what is it about it that makes it so special? And of course, talk about the tilting technology. We had a question on our forums thread that said, how did we make this? How did we make it work? And what challenges that were with it? So 2 for 1 if you could get us an answer.
I mean, the Pendolino is such an iconic thing. As I said there, it's in the 9 and the 11 car versions as well. But it's just got it redefined transport on the West Coast Main Line when Virgin introduced them, and they've also proven their worth as well. With there was obviously a terrible accident in Greyrig, and the design of the Pendolino made it to where what could have been a really, really terrible disaster wasn't anywhere near as bad because the structure stayed up. These are exceptional trains. They're beautiful to look at. They're really fun to drive. You've got a big open cab at the front, and they're really comfortable to ride in. But of course, obviously, you've got the tilting technology, as well as one of the questions that you may have thought about, and I've had this asked a few times in the past, is, well, if the train is tilting, how does the pantograph stay on the wire? Surely the pantograph moves with the wire.
I guess that is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and the answer is that the pantograph has a counter tilt. So while the train tilts over, the pantograph tilts in the other direction to maintain connection with the wire, and that's all animated. So you'll find that on this, and later on, when we get to the ICET, you'll find it on there as well. So both of these have got all the counter tilt stuff animated in there as well. And fundamentally, the challenge with the tilt is getting all the animation set up, getting all of the linkages set up for the equipment, and the way the bogie connects to the body and so forth. But this is stuff the team have done before. We've done the Acela as a tilting train and the BR612. So these aren't our first tilting trains, but I think these are the tilting trains everyone wanted. So here we are.
Fantastic. And let's just to answer some of the questions that have come up. Matt, do you know how long a full run of the 390 on West Coast Main Line, London Euston, from London Euston to Milton Keynes will take roughly?
I actually don't know off the top of my head. I've heard people say in the order of 30 minutes, but call it 30 to 40 minutes.
And as a note, there won't be conductor mode on the 390, so we have got this in our FAQs. Now, we'll talk a little bit about conductor mode, and we'll mention what it is. But for those of you that know, it is our additional game mode, the new game mode that we've introduced for the 3 core routes with Train Sim World 5. Obviously, we've seen it before on Glossop Line and Long Island Commuter. But it's a new mode that we brought with Train Sim World 5 to the 3 routes because we've seen the surveys, the data, people love the mode. But in terms of this, we don't have this on the Pendolino or the ICET, partly because when you think about what makes conductor mode the best experience it can be, you will need more stops, you will need kind of like much more passenger stops throughout the run to better make use of the mode. And so at the moment, this is currently on the Class 350. It is on the BR114 for Frankfurt Fulda, and it is on the... My mind's blanking, Matt. Which for San Bernardino? Is it on the...
It's on all the trains and all the coaches, so the Rotems and the Bombardiers.
That's it. Oh yeah, a lot of information over there. But yes, it won't be on the Pendolino or the ICT, but we will look at feedback. We're still taking feedback in for this new mode. So when you get a chance to get your hands on it, give it a play, give it a test, let us know what your thoughts are. We'll have dedicated feedback threads. And we can look to implement this in the future if we see it fit and if there's demand for it. And there are people in the chat saying that the guard mode would be good for this. So if that's the feedback, then great. Then we can look for that in the future. But from launch, it will just be on the Class 350 for West Coast Main Line.
We'll come on to more when we come on to guard mode proper. Then I can give you a bit more insight into that as well. So it's an really interesting mode.
And Luke, will the 390 layer onto Cathcart Circle? So there will actually be a 390 layer. It will be an AI layer onto Cathcart Circle Line.
They head down to Pormadi, I think, so they stay at AI. You don't get them, but you'll see them running in and out of Glasgow.
I'm just looking at the question list. There was a question about special liveries or nameplates, such as the Pride livery or the City of Carlisle nameplate.
I don't think I've not seen any nameplates, and there's only the one livery about it.
Okay, and we're still answering some questions, but we will continue through. I mean, we could be answering questions for forever, but that's what we're here to do. We're here to try and answer as many questions, and we probably will fail to answer every single question. I think our list of questions on the Excel sheet is just passing 260, which is a lot. But we will do our best to answer as much as we can, and whatever we don't answer tonight, we'll always try and pack it. We'll always try and get into future threads. We've still got a few weeks before launch, so we've still got more opportunities to help answer questions. And we've got live streams as well. So if you're looking at the Pendolino on screen, I'm about to change the camera, so there it goes, it's gone. But if you were looking at the Pendolino there and West Coast Main Line, we've got the preview live stream next week. In fact, it's next Thursday, August 29th. I have a live stream overview here. So you will be able to see both of them in action just a week away, which is no time at all. The week after that, we've got San Bernardino line preview as well. And then the week after that, on Wednesday, we've got the Frankfurt Fulda and Flixtrain preview. And that's only on a Wednesday, which is a bit odd because we go into early access for people that pre-ordered Deluxe and Special Edition on September 12th, which is that Thursday. So keep an eye out, but we still need to talk about more things. So let's move over to hide the Pendolino, San Bernardino line. Now, Matt, this is the US offering coming with Train Sim World 5, but we know this has been announced for some time previously in the past. But actually, from what you've said, a lot of the beta players who have been getting their hands on San Bernardino line and been playing it have been really saying it's quite a magnificent route to drive. So it'd be great to hear some insight of what you think about the route and some of the highlights that you have when developing it.
Oh yeah, I mean the extended development schedule in this one hasn't been wasted, and so there's lots of extra stuff been added to this that was good to see. So you've got the two trains, you've got the MP36 and the F125, so you don't need to own Antelope Valley to get the F125 as well. That's in the pack. You've got both types of coaches, the new Bombardiers, which are in 2 liveries, an older version and the newest and the very latest livery. It's not the oldest livery of the Bombardiers, which is the white one with the blue, the one that looks more like the MP36 there, and then you've obviously got the Rotems, and all of the formations are based on how and Metrolink actually run the trains now. So for safety reasons, they're no longer allowed to put the Bombardier coaches on the outsides of trains. So they've got the new Rotem coaches. It's one of the reasons they invested in the Rotem coaches. So you have a loco, a Rotem coach, a mix of coaches, and then the Rotem cab car. So that's the general format that they use, and you'll see more and more Rotems going in. In fact, in the news recently, they put in an order to just about wipe out the Bombardier coaches completely. But there'll be a nice mix of them in San Bernardino, and it gives some really interesting looking trains, which is it's nice to see. With not just being a train of the same coach, you've got both of them there. The cab car is provided for the Bombardiers, but the Bombardier cab car is no longer used as a cab car. It's all plated and boarded up. And that's how it's presented here. So it is there, and it is plated and boarded up the same way it is in reality, alongside the normal trailer car. So there's lots of really good stuff. Some of these screenshots you can see, it is Cal State is a really interesting station. You've got working elevators in some of the stations, this route is, if you're thinking, well, this is just another version of Antelope Valley, you couldn't be more wrong. Antelope Valley is more a mountain pass type, like a freight route would be. This one is probably more like Caltrain. So this is staying in the city at all times. There's a lot more stops that you've got to do. There's a lot less time between the stops. You've also got the freight, and you can see the BNSF here. There's layering in from Cone Pass. That's one of the reasons Cone Pass is in the Deluxe Edition, is to benefit from the freight which fills out the eastern side of the route, San Bernardino heading west. And there's a mixed service mode there, including local runs as well, up and down the San Bernardino line. So there's a decent bit of freight. There's tons of passenger stuff going on, and this is a fun route to drive. Really is very different experience.
Again, we'll get ahead of ourselves a little bit here, but of course, on either end, this connects to both the Cajon Pass route and the Antelope Valley line, which makes a lot of sense when we've introduced the new route hopping mechanics. So you can have this mega Californian journey as you want with that feature as well. But obviously it kind of offers that different experience, which is just exciting. I mean, the screenshots I've seen, we've got some brand new screenshots tonight that I want to show you from our beta teams that haven't been on any roadmaps. They've never been seen before so far. And some of them include the highway running for the MP36 here, which is just fantastic. There is something I want to quickly pause on and run back to, because again, with so much to talk about, I forgot some obvious ones. But the important thing is pre-order. When we think about pre-order, when we think about compatible content, previously there have been times where you've had to wait for compatible content to kick in, which isn't great on certain platforms. And obviously there was, I think with Train Sim World 4, if you had the pre-order version and you were in on the early access, you only had the Train Sim World 4 content. That is not the case this year. So the way it's going to work, if you check out our FAQs, if you are on Steam, if you're a Steam player and you pre-order, let's say Deluxe or Special Edition, you get it on September 12th, you can actually have access to compatible content from the early access. And I believe this may be the case for Epic Games, but check out FAQs to confirm. On consoles, however, you will have that from launch on the 17th. There won't be any waiting, so don't worry about that.